Hello all. In today's video we are going to cover the all basic and simple concepts of the manual testing or software testing in one shot, as many of the subscribers has requested for the basic concepts of software testing as for the revision purpose. So I am trying my best to cover all the basic concepts in very short and very simple language. But I am trying to explain the all the concepts. So basically, the software testing means we are checking the functionality of particular application by keep in mind that as per the requirement whether that particular software is built or not. Basically, we are trying to find out is there any defect or bug in the software is nothing but the software testing. So next is the what is mean by manual testing. Manual testing means we are testing a software manually, means we are executing the test cases manually without using any automation tool. The next main concepts comes under the manual testing or software testing is SRS. What is mean by SRS? SRS is a software requirement specification, means where this is particular document where all the requirements which are specified by the customers are included. So by referring this SRS, or we can say the SRS is a base document for our software testing. So whatever the requirements are, we can say mention in the SRS, according to that we are checking the software. So what are the different points comes under the SRS, or what are the different fields comes under the SRS? I have made the separate video for same, so please do and do check that particular video. I will give the all the links of the different videos in the description box, so please check that particular video. Next main concept is SDLC, that is software development life cycle. So in this particular software development life cycle, basically there are different phases like requirement gathering, then requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, and maintenance. So, in this particular SDLC, with the diagram, I have also made the separate video for same. Please do check. So, in this particular SDLC, the main phase is a requirement gathering or information gathering. Means what? To build particular software, we need to gather the requirement from customer, right? So that particular all requirements are gathered, which comes under the step known as a information or requirement gathering. Then we have to check whether all the requirements which are specified by customer is really efficient, or we can say feasible to develop. This stage is known as a requirement gathering. Then third stage comes, that is design, means according to the requirement that particular software design, means diagram for the software, or we can say the high level design is high level and low level design is get done according to the requirement. After that, according to the design diagram, the coding gets started, and once the coding is completed for particular software, then the stage comes, that is testing, means where actual role of tester comes, that is they are going to check the software according to the requirement is built or not. And the last stage in software development life cycle is a maintenance, means what? Once that particular software is hand over to the end user, then after specific period of time, or is if there anything is happen, then this particular maintenance stage comes. Then the main two basic concepts comes under the software testing is a black box testing and white box testing. So first I will explain in very basic, or in very you can say simple words, what is meant by black box testing and what is meant by white box testing. So basically, when we are just passing the input and checking whether the output is producing by the software is correct or not is known as a black box testing. And so what is meant by white box testing? When we are passing the input and when we are checking the output is correct or not, at the same time we are also going to check the internal functionality of software, means how that particular output is coming, or what process is used to produce that output is nothing but a white box testing. So basically, the in a I will tell you one simple example. For example, if the software we have developed is a calculator. Okay, and if I am passing an input like a 4 plus 5, so output will be 9. So in black box testing I will just type 4, I will press the button of plus, then I will press the button of 5. Okay, and I am checking whether the output coming is 9 or not. If the output is 9, then the software is working fine. And in white box testing, what happened when I am giving an input that is 4 plus 5, I'm going to check how that particular addition is happening in this particular software. I'm going to check the code for the this particular addition, or I am going to check whether what lines, or we can say what variables are declared for the same, where the output is going to be stored, whether that what are the different types for storing that particular number, means whether I am giving an integer, if I am giving a float number, then how it will be going to produce, or where it is going to be stored, what memory space it will take. So all these minute details will become we check in the white box testing. So there are different, we can say the black box testings are in black box testing. So what are that particular black box testing? The main testing technique is a usability testing. So uh, the different techniques are usability testing, functionality testing, performance testing, and security testing. So first technique that named as a usability testing, the name itself will we can say the name itself suggests that the usability means we are checking how this particular software is usable. So we are going to check how it is looking, whether it is easy to use or not, what is the speed or performance of particular software. So for example, I will take a same example of calculator. If I have developed a software for calculation of different numbers, right, that is calculator software, or I have written a code for calculator, then I am going to check how it is looking, whether it is easy to use or not, and what is the speed. If I want to do addition, if and it is taking the lot of time, so it is not usable. So these are the all some basic, we can say the checkpoints we are going to check under the usability testing. Then the main testing techniques comes under the black box testing is a functionality testing. So what is mean by functionality testing? So, in functionality testing, the name itself suggests that the functionality means we are going to check the functionality of particular software. So, means here we will check. How that particular, what are the different objects which are comes under the in particular software, or what kind of input we are providing to particular software, how it is handling the error or exception. So for example, I have developed the software for the calculator, and the variables are declared for the only integer number. And if I am providing a float number that is 2.5 or 5.2 like that, then how that particular one is handling. So all these details are checks under the functionality testing. Means basically how your software is functioning is checked in the functionality testing. Then the main concept is a or technique is a performance testing. So in performance testing, they are going to test the performance of your software. Means performance means what? How the load is handled by your software. Means for example, the one particular software named as a student record, and the capacity of that particular software is to store thousand of student record. Then I'm going to check whether it is really storing 1,000 records or not. So this is nothing but a performance testing. So there are load testing, stress testing, then data volume, data storage testing are the some types which comes under the performance testing. So basically keep in mind that performance testing means we are checking the performance of particular software by considering some parameters, or whatever the explanation or the requirements are given in the SRS. Okay, then the next technique in black box testing is the security testing. Means I am checking how secure your software is, whether it is means providing a support for password, or we can say how it is supporting or how it is we can say feasible to store our sensitive data. So whether it is using some algorithms or whether it is having a functionality of login, like login using id and password like that, or whether it is having some access control. So these are nothing but the security testing. Means for example, the software named as a student record, okay, and I am storing all the records of student of particular school. So there are some sensitive data, like there are the phone numbers of the students and parents, or we can say the address, photos and all the details. So whether your software is secure or not, whether it is keeping the whole data in safe manner or not, it's checked under the security testing. Then the main concept in particular, so manual testing or software testing is a verification. So what is meant by verification? Verification and validation are the two main concepts which comes under the manual testing. So verification means we are it is a process of checking the software, particular software achieves the particular requirement or not. Means we are checking while we are means we are developing a particular software. We are checking whether it is developing according to a requirement. And validation means we are checking whether the software is up to the mark. Means we are whatever the product is developed is as per the expected result or not. So basically the verification is a static testing and validation is a dynamic testing. So what is meant by static testing? So in static testing, here is a process of checking the code and design document before it runs to find out the error. And in dynamic testing, actually we are going to check the code. Is the basic difference between static testing and dynamic testing. Then the main concepts, or we can say which is the base of your software testing. So always there will be a question for the we can say the different models or the process models or software testing models in the testing, that is waterfall model, agile model, spiral model, v model and iterative model. I have made the separate video on the same as well. Please do check the video link given in the description box, and also check the card on the same video. Then the I will here explain the all the models in very short line. That is what is meant by waterfall model. So basically the waterfall model is also known as a linear model, or we can say sequential model. So as I have explained you the particular stages which are comes under the SDLC. So all these stages comes in all these models. So in waterfall model what happen, the requirement gathering, the requirement analysis, design, coding and testing, all these stages comes one after another. Means first they will gather the requirement, then do the analysis, then do the design, then coding and then the testing. But what is the main disadvantage of waterfall model is that in waterfall model if any requirement is changed, then I have to follow whole sequence once again. So this is the main, we can say, disadvantage of waterfall model. Then the next model come is, we can say, V model. That is V model means what? Verification and validation model. So here what happen in verification and validation model, the phases of verification and validations are run in, we can say, in parallelly. Means what happen, uh, the all the testing or the first stage is like a requirement gathering, right? So that particular requirement, once when we are gathering the requirement, so at that time the acceptance testing will be done. Then while designing there will be a different testing, that is system integration testing, component testing will be there. While coding their unit testing will be done. So means in base the verification and validation model, or this model is decided, we can say it's a costly model. Why? Because along with these particular stages of V model, verification and validation model, the mapping of the development stages are mapped with the testing stages. So each and every stage of development is related or associated with a testing. So this model we can say parallelly development and testing is done in the V and V model. Then the next model is a agile model. So what happen in agile model? We can say agile model is a flexible model. Means if any particular change or the requirement stated by the customer in any phase, then at that time it is easily get adapted. No need to follow all the stages in sequence is the main advantage of a agile model. Then the next model is known as a spiral model. So the name itself suggests that the spiral model means all the stages are there in the spiral shape, or we can say there are some associated testing will be there in the spiral model, or basically the one after another means it is same like a waterfall model, but there is a we can say there are chances means for example if any requirement is suggested by the customer, so they can adapt that particular change in that particular phase. So it is possible, and it is we can say it is better model than the waterfall model. And what happens in the iterative model, as name suggests, iterative means it's in a incremental or continuous integration will be there. Means one particular requirement is developed first, then another addition will be there. So as the changes comes, or whatever will be the stages, as different changes are suggested, according to that the increment or we can say iteration will be there for development of particular software. So these are the nothing but different software testing model. Then what is meant by unit testing? The unit testing means we are checking the software according to particular module, means module wise testing will be there. So I will give you a same example of calculator. Means if the software is for calculator, then in calculator there are different modules like addition, subtraction, right, multiplication, division. So these are the different modules or the software parts, right? So in unit testing what happen, we are going to test each and every module separately, is known as a unit testing. Means this unit testing is very helpful for checking the large software in very systematic manner, or to produce a right output, or to find out the defect or bug in very efficient manner. This particular unit testing is helpful. So basically the we can say the particular testing starts with the unit testing. Then the next model is a component testing. Component testing means what? The component testing means we are going to check the particular uh, so means different modules are there. So in component testing we will check the components of your software. Means uh, for example the addition module will be there, so I will enter different values, and I will check how it is uh, how it is whether it is producing a correct output or not. And in system integration model what happen, in system integration model it will check the two different modules how they are behaving. If I am combining, means for example I'm giving input like 2 plus 3 and minus 1. So two modules are combining, means two modules means addition module, and the second one is a subtraction module is combining. So this combined testing is known as a system integration model. And in component testing what happen, we are checking the functionality of each module. Means here as a tester I'm going to check component or module as per the low level design. So every module is tested separately. And in unit testing what happen, here this particular unit testing is basically done by the developer. So the question comes, or the we can say query comes in your mind, is what is the difference between unit testing and component testing? As in both the testing, the modules are tested separately, right? So basically this unit testing, when your developer handovers your build to a tester, so before that, as for cross checking, they will do a unit testing. So this unit testing is basically done by the developer, and component testing is done by the tester. Here in both the testing will check, the checking of software is done module wise. And in system integration, what happen in system integration testing, we combine the different modules and checking whether how it is producing a output, or how your software is behaving. Then the next is a system testing. System testing means what? Here we will check the overall performance of your software, or we can say how your system is working, whether it's we can say all the parts, that is software part and the hardware part, is checked in the system testing. Then the next is acceptance testing. What happens in acceptance testing? It is also known as the user acceptance testing. So here in the user acceptance testing, we check whatever the requirements are given by the software, which are given in the SRS. According to that, your software is built or not. So what happens in acceptance testing? This acceptance testing is basically done by the customer, or we can say before handovering software to the end user, we'll give a demo of your software to the customer or your end user. So this particular acceptance testing is, we can say, done by the tester and your user, or whatever will be the client. Then what happens in a performance testing? In performance testing, we'll check the performance of your software, means how quickly it is responding, right? So this particular thing is tested in the acceptance testing. And what is mean by and then what mean by the load testing? As I have already explained, the load testing means we are checking how much load your software is handling. So whatever will be the limitation given in the particular SRS document, this particular load testing will be done. So these are, we can say, the basic concepts in the software testing. So here are some another testing types which comes under the functionality testing, are like a regression testing, retesting. So what is meant by regression testing? Regression testing means if any new change comes in the particular module, okay, then what happen in regression testing? The whole module we need to check with by integrating that particular change. Means I need to check that particular, if the change is made in a software is affecting on all other part, and how your software is behaving. And in retesting, what happen? If any defect is found, then the developer will correct that defect and gives you another build. Then I need to check whether that defect is really fixed or not. So these are the some basic concepts, we can say, comes under the manual testing. Soon I will post the second, or we can say advanced part of manual testing, that is part 2. So please, I request you, please subscribe to our channel and do check all the videos or the playlist for the project named as the telecom domain, which are comes under the telecom domain and the investment banking domain, and some basic concepts of the manual testing. I have made the separate video for all basic concepts. Do check, please. Do comment on which point you want to see a next video, or which point I need to cover. I will try my best for the same. And please do comment what are the if you want any further explanation on any point, or anything you want to suggest, please do suggest. Your suggestions will be highly appreciated. So thank you all. Thank you so much.